It is autumn, my dudes, and to provide an ointment for the chilly weather and shorter days, I thought I would do a little talk on a meditation technique called Feel Good. This will be the talk, and in another video we'll do a little guidance on how to do it. So, in the realm of unified mindfulness and their gathering of all the definitions of all the kinds of experiences, feel good comes under the nurture positive quadrant in the Universal Library of Training Attention, which is a really boring way to describe the fact that we have this kind of cheat code to go all the way to just feeling really bloody jolly good almost immediately. And you might wonder, well, why don't we just do that all the time? Why isn't that like the main thing in all the meditating? Well, it could be. It could be just what you do to practice your three skills, your concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. But you generally need some other things that aren't like just fun all the time to provide some balance. So it kind of goes without saying, but what are some of the benefits of literally sitting down and practicing a meditation called Feel Good? Well, deliberate, if contrived, positivity can affect your experience and behaviours. Obviously, you'll feel better, you'll think more wisely, and more than that, you will imagine ways to act more effectively. The word empathy comes up a lot in recent days and months and years, and the way I was trained in sort of British counselling is empathy is not sympathy. It's not like, oh, that would suck if that happened to me. Empathy is putting yourself in the person's shoes that the thing is happening to and understanding how this thing is affecting them based on who they are, not relating it to how you might experience a bad thing. So having that extra length of time given to you between perception and reaction will create empathy, it will create compassion and make you just a pretty nice person to be around. You'll be a better role model for kids, family, peers, without, being a holier than thou tosspot. And you'll generally just relate to situations, pleasant and unpleasant, in a healthier way. All kinds of other positive effects. Another word for feel good, or another word for nurture positive quadrant, could be improve. You are improving. It is self-improvement. And when you do a technique from an appreciate quadrant, like see, hear, feel, open awareness, you are not as in gratitude, but appreciate as in you are appreciating and being aware of all the things that there are in the nature of reality. You are just observing what is. But when you start to do something like feel good, you can actively create positive images, positive talk, create the positive emotion, which in my past goes against everything I would stand for. I thought, oh no, you just sit and you feel the pain in your knees and you sit and whatever there is, that's what there is. And I really didn't like I didn't like visualizations, contrived things, making things up. But I have turned a corner and I've realised that, by improving your inner experience, that's still the same goal, all roads lead to Rome, hopefully, if you feel better and have a more positive impact. And alternating the appreciate practices, the just observing what there is, the breath, the environment, the see, hear, feel, combining that with improve practices, feel good and nurture positive, that is, that's the bread and butter, that's the peanut butter and jelly, that is optimizing your growth, that is optimizing your improvement. You could say maturity in practice, or skill in practice, is the degree to which you embrace the cycle of dissolving into transcendence. That's a lot of words. But going beyond the limited self, or the limited sort of mundane, I hope I have a good day today, you can go beyond that limited self in an extraordinary way by realizing that you can make yourself feel good, and by bringing that understanding into ordinary life to make a positive contribution. So in all of these practices, contacting something like flow, which we're doing in another video, contacting change in sensory experience is one way to release the obstacles in our sensory perception that stand in the way of being a good person. It removes hurdles and obstacles and things that make us suffer, ultimately. The push, pull, the I want this, I don't want that. And you can intentionally work to improve yourself, by nurturing positivity. When you feel good, it can be easier to just let go and dissolve into transcendence, or in a more realistic sense, you can just, let go of unpleasant poop that comes at you in a day-to-day basis. So this deliberate positivity can set the stage for deeper practice experiences. It greases the groove. You're not just having a nice time now, you will continue to have a baseline mindfulness of having nice times. So feel good equals cultivating positive emotion. How does feel good fit into a broader set of mindfulness techniques? Well, as you said, it comes under nurture positive in the big old set of 4 quadrants. It can contain see good and hear good. If you remember the general gist of see, hear, feel, everything we see, hear and feel, in and out and actively and restfully, are everything that we could possibly experience, essentially. So if we can feel good, that comes in the feel, we can also see good and hear good. We can see, hear, feel good in and out, active and rest. Any other kind of positivity technique can be called a special exercise in Nurture Positive. If you've come from any kind of loving kindness practice or metta bhavana, 4 quadrants, the things that are all of these categories are complementing each other. And appreciating experience as it is can also lead to transcendence. It can lead to sort of little touches of realization, zooming out of the human experience. And it's good to express spontaneity. I'm not a dancer or a singer, but I do find myself kind of doing those things a little bit more when practicing just plain feel good, practicing nurture positive. And you want the content of your expression to be positive. In sort of Buddhist speak, this would be skillful speech. Are you saying good stuff? It's not, no one's telling you to follow commandments, no one's telling you do this and don't do that, but having skillful speech, skillful action, these are, in my opinion, they're pretty good goals to have. And all of these techniques are modular, they fit into each other, and you can work with the broadest range of experience when you practice see, hear, feel from the appreciate quadrant, and you work with a narrower range of experience when you practice something like feel flow, paying attention to change in the body. Auto move is in the express quadrant. That is like having a walk without supervising that you're there. It's chewing and swallowing without deliberately chewing and swallowing. Just the spontaneity of physical expression as you're moving. So feel good narrows down all of this spotlight of awareness into positive emotions in your body. And it's kind of different to all of those other things. It's different to feel flow and see, hear, feel, because you're often intentionally creating positive emotions. When you become skilled at this practice, it will dramatically change the way you relate to the world, imbuing your world with positivity. And I say this as a person to which this does not come naturally. Your positive emotions turn every moment into a moment of subtle service to everyone around you. And equally important, it of course affects the way that the world relates to you, the way that you're seen, the way that you are, and the way that you improve and express. And the more time you spend feeling positive, the more intense and rich those positive emotions become. And they improve not just your thoughts, but your relationships, and those people's relationships with you, and the way that you feel on a daily basis, your emotional home base. And the technique, of course, leads to that more fulfilling baseline of mindfulness by cultivating the CC&E, the concentration, the clarity, and equanimity. As we've always said, it doesn't really matter what you do in any kind of practice. If you're painting Warhammer, if you're riding a motorbike, if you're cultivating CC&E, you're always self-improving. And even if you can't generate positive emotions, because I'm sure a lot of you are thinking that, how could you possibly just sit there and, okay, I'll be happy now, thanks, I'm cured. But by doing the technique, you are increasing that baseline of CC&E for unconditional fulfillment, the ultimate goal of being happy regardless of conditions. It's not a case of making things better for you, it's making you feel better no matter what. And sometimes positive emotions are extremely subtle, and that's okay, that's the task. Just work with them and maintain your equanimity, observing your own lack of push and pull, and subtle is enough. And sometimes you need just a touch more self-care, especially in a mental health scenario. If you're struggling, and feel good can seem inauthentic, and I feel this through and through. It is contrived, it's to make myself happy. But give the technique a solid try, give feel good a solid try before switching back to just a see, hear, feel, or I enjoy my motorbike type practice. And something to watch out for is, of course, it's difficult to induce equanimity. It's difficult to just tell yourself, I don't care about this or that, or the good thing or a bad thing. But if you detect subtle positivity by deliberately directing it towards the part of you that is struggling, then you can feel more equanimous. Equally, feel good, the entire practice, is about deliberately directing your mind towards the part of you that feels good, no matter how subtle, that nice little tummy feeling as you're riding, as you hear the revs. And sometimes when you try and focus on something positive, the opposite comes up. If a reaction is too strong, then you can switch to an appreciate technique and, as we say, recycle the reaction. Deconstruct what you're feeling, pleasant or unpleasant, into see, hear, feel. Are you feeling something unpleasant? Are you hearing an argument or an exciting thing? And turn that into see, hear, feel, applying the CC&E. But all the time, try and focus on subtle positivity to strengthen CC&E and have, a background equanimity with the unpleasant experience, which of course we hopefully will not have. But what are the practical applications? Because this sounds so vague, so many promises, and nothing has been delivered yet. But this is a technique that you can use in daily life, which I try to provide. Nothing that is necessary to sit for 10 hours a day in Burmese posture, in complete silence, for 10 or 11 days. Now you can use this in daily life, you can use this for behaviour change. And I'm sorry to disparage CBT, but this will blow it out the water. You can use it to send out positive feelings. And, it's dramatic, but you are doing your little bit to make the world more peaceful. I've never necessarily been so upset by the enormous atrocities, but more by the pleasantness or unpleasantness of people around me. And this is how you add to that, hopefully in a good way. So I'm going to do the actual guided meditation in another video, but I'm going to briefly explain an example technique. You don't have to follow this so gospel, but the practice feel good might look something like striking the bell, just snapping your fingers and create a positive emotion. And if you can do that, that's amazing, that's great. If you could just create, remember what feeling good is like and just make that happen, go. If you can't do that, we have further things to practice. So you're going to apply CC&E to the positive emotion. And even as it fades, the positive emotion is like the sound of a bell that has been struck, just reverberating and it's gone, and it's gone. It doesn't matter, I can't do the thing, I can't do the whatever, the feeling good thing, because it only lasted like a second. When the emotion is gone, just strike the bell again, bong, in your mind, bring that feeling back. And, do these stages repeatedly. Just create the emotion, just feel good. And importantly, what you're not focusing on is the thing that made you feel good. If it was a memory, that can be the trigger, that can be the striking the bell to make you feel good. But you're not focusing on the memory, you're not focusing on the words, the image, the loved ones. You're focusing on the feeling that was created by that bell being struck. That is the mindfulness, that is practice. There's also an acronym you can try to find this ding, which is STARS. Something you can do is S, smile, which sounds a bit like catcalling, I know, but bear with me. You will smile, just smile, little Mona Lisa smile to encourage positive emotion. Think, use thoughts, which was kind of the first obvious section, thoughts. Just think about something to bring on a positive emotion in the body. Think about your favourite movie, think about your loved one, think about your favourite time ever with your pet. Images, talk, feelings in the body. Activate. Again, ding, just activate again, ring that bell, activate the positive emotion just by willing it. Flip the feel good switch. Switch, bell, trigger, whatever word you want to use. Respond is my favourite. Use external stimuli like music. Yes, amazingly enough, you can just sit and listen. You can just rock out to your favourite tune, create an emotional response to your favourite playlist. Create that response in the body, and then put your spotlight of awareness on that feel good in the tummy, in the throat, in the hands, wherever it is. Thinking about your kids, your bike, your family, whoever, whatever. Finally, S, support. Use other techniques to create pleasant reward states, like feel rest, feel flow. Once you have that positive emotion, through smile, think, activate, respond, support, reach for the stars. Once you have that positive emotion, you're going to use your concentration power to spread that pleasant feeling over your whole body and attempt to radiate it beyond your body and out to people, to objects, everything around you, zooming out further and further. And in this way, you will subtly colour everything you see, hear, feel, touch with positivity, with compassion. And you can use music, as we said, use music to create a positive emotional response. Do whatever you need to do to create a positive response. And then don't focus on the thing that made you happy. Focus on the happy. Focus on the good. Let me know how it goes. Love you all. See you on the next one.